Hey guys, a lot of people needed help with this SYSC assignment, 2100, so I'm just going to help. I'm going to try to take this in one shot, so there might be awkward pauses, but I'm going to cut those out. So if there's like sudden breaks, that's because I suck at editing videos. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm probably going to split this up into 3 parts. The first part being the actual concept. The second part being able to get these sets. Oh, I guess black on black doesn't work. But getting these sets. The last part will be getting the actual number combinations. The actual number combinations I'll probably wait to release because I don't know how to do it yet. But I know how to do this part. So I'm going to talk about that part. So why don't we go ahead and get started. Let me just fix my screen a little bit. Okay. So the concept of this. There's 2 ways of doing it. You can either start from the bottom. Like your first combination can be 003 or your first combination can be 300. It doesn't really matter. They're just different in the for loop. Now, just some quick things before we get started on the concept. This is hints and tips. Use all of them. I'm going to show you guys this version because that's the version I used. This, I don't know what I'm doing yet. This is super important. You need to use an array to hold all the assigned nodes. I'll get to that. And then the base case. Assign all the remaining nodes to the last channel. Well, he kind of already told you what your base case is, so that helps a lot with recursive functions. So, okay. Even though it's recursive, you're allowed to use iterations, as long as it has a recursive call in it. So here's the function header, and function blah blah, and here it is parameters, param. Now, for the base case, so base, I'm writing pseudocode, base case. And it's if channels is equal, I don't even know how to spell channels, Jesus Christ. oh dear God, okay, that looks so wrong. Anyways, if channels is equals 1. Why? Because, well, first of all, he told you, and second of all, we're going to start at the last channel, or the newest channel. So if it's, let's take 003 for example. I chose to start at this channel, alright? And there's 2 possible combinations to start off with. The first one is you assign no nodes to it. Or the other way, if you start from this line, is you assign all nodes to it. All nodes to it. So let's go with where you start with no nodes, just because I'm more comfortable with that, and I don't want to screw you guys over just yet. So we know that the remaining nodes must go in the last channel. Well, your channel is 1, so all you gotta do is you make your array. So I'm just gonna call it array at 0, just because. I know this one. I'm going to erase all that. I know how to do it this way. No nodes and all nodes. So, I'm going to assign it to all the remaining nodes. And because we're only working with, trying to find the sets, we can just leave the base case at that. But we actually got to print out the sets. Well, assuming your array is full, I'll get to how to actually fill it up in a little bit. All you just do is you do print. I'm not going to write the whole print statement, but arrays actually have a toString. So all you do is you write your array's name. So in this case, I guess array dot toString, I believe. toString. Wait, let me just verify that. Yeah, so you write arrays.toString. Arrays is the class, not your object. Arrays.toString. And you'll just write your array name. Array underscore name. And that'll give you this nice format over here. Okay. The rest of these words you can just incorporate in your print statement, but it's not really important. So why don't we go ahead and actually move on to the bulk of it. So you have your base case. Now all you gotta do is build up from that. Okay. Now, let's go to your main function. Again, we're gonna start with assigning no nodes to the last channel. So we're kind of working backwards. So if you have channel, these are your channels. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. These are channel numbers. We're starting all the way at the end. So whoop, whoop, whoop. We're starting here. We're starting here, and we're moving to channel 1. You could do the other way around because that's how most people's brains function, but this is the way I did it. So that's what we're going to get. So how do we assign 0 to the first channel? Well, in this case, I guess your last channel, depending how, I'm just going to call it channel 3. How do we assign that? Well, you can do A at the channel you're currently in. Current channel. Current channel. And you can make it equal to something. So question mark. So your array is at your current channel. Well, almost. That you just gotta make sure you subtract this by 1 because indexing an array start at 0. So we don't know what to set it to yet. Alright? And now probably the most difficult part is recalling the function. So function and then the parameters. Well, hints and tips. You're gonna need all of these. Int remaining nodes, int number of channels, int current channels, your int array, and your sum. We're not going to worry about the sum for now because, again, I don't know how to do it. But we'll work on these guys. So I'm going to assume I'm given the int remaining nodes. Well, how would you? Well, you prompt the user. The very first time you iterate through the function, your remaining nodes are your total nodes, right? Because the function's been called once, and yeah, your number of channels is also when you prompt the user to input your number of channels, that's what it is. Your int current channel, when you first call this function, like your very first time, your current channel is your number of channels, and it'll change through every recursive call. And then an array, you have to make this array prior to calling it in your main function, and then put that array into this main function. I'll show you how the code looks in the end, but this is more the explanation. Where was it? Was it here? Nope. Okay, it's over here. Right. So your function, and you're gonna call it with certain things. So your total channels will just be channels. It doesn't really matter. So channels. Your remaining nodes. This is going to be a bit messed up, and then your array will be your array. I'm putting them in no particular order. So this will be your nodes, and this will be the next channel. So how do you find the next channel? Well, if we start at channel 3, and we're working to go left, how do you go to the next channel? So if you're at 3, and you want to go to 2, and then you want to go to 1, what do you take away to get to each one? You take away 1. So in here, you'll write channels, or current channel, current minus 1. For your number of nodes, okay, this is where shit gets a little messed. So I'm just going to open up a new one, and here is where your here's where your for loop comes into play. So I'm going to write out the for loop. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than or equal to I plus plus. Alright, so here's what we need to know.